Hey, 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 now you cool cats and kittens. If you watched our show last week, you know where that came from. We are back with another episode of the Teacher Blab Show here on this fabulous Thursday evening, and we cannot wait to get started and talk and chat with each and every one of you. Stay tuned. Hey, we're back, and I hope everything worked that time with our audio and the music. Last week it did not work, and we just had a big video with you could barely hear the music, but hopefully we got that fixed this week. We'll figure it out. You know, it's a learning thing with technology. So let me go ahead and unmute the girls, bring them on with us. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. All right. So, like I said, if you watched this last week, then you know last week we did all things. We had a bunch of fun. We talked all about Tiger King and being cool cats and kittens that we are. And we had a lot of interesting discussion and comments about the show. I got some really cool DMs afterwards saying
did you?
that was a much needed break. Now it says we're live on YouTube, so if we're live, be sure and leave a go ahead. If you're watching live, go ahead and leave us a comment. Julie's going to be monitoring the comments for us. And then if you are catching this on the replay, thank you so much for coming back and watching on the replay. We realized even last week that there were not a lot of people that could be live, but we did have a lot of people that caught it on the replay, so that was super fun. So
Robin's
tonight,
Hey,
again.
Robin. Hey, girl.
Robin's here. Okay, I am pulling it up now, but I've got to turn this down so that it does not distract me and I can see the chat. All right. Yay. All right. So tonight we are going to still have some fun, but we're going to talk about some serious stuff because, you know, there has been a lot of things. Listen, we can't get away from it. You just can't get away from it. You know, it is what it is, this distance digital learning things. I'm sure you can tell by the looks of everybody's faces that we're over it, but we're going to chat about it tonight because everybody's frustrated about things. In fact, we talked about, I think what we put in our promo image was that we are going to be chatting about the staying off social media, teachers being told to stay off social media during contract hours, as well as the unrealistic expectations that have been put on teachers during this distance learning thing. So we're going to chat about that tonight. We're going to be doing more than a meme. So let's go ahead and dive into our hot topic. And I still have not gotten that cool little segue of hot topic. I'm still working on it. Anyway, but our hot topic of staying off social media while you are on contract hours. Ladies, are any of y'all, you know, we know I'm not in the classroom at the moment, so I can be all over social media. Ain't nobody tell me. Now, my boss is a rather, you know, big old B with a capital B, but, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have to stay off of social media. So what about y'all? Have y'all been told to, encouraged not to? What's the deal going there?
Who wants to start?
Just jump in.
I haven't been told anything. So, I mean, me personally, I'm doing and prepping and planning, and my teacher brain is already thinking about like next year. So I'm prepping and planning. So I'm not on social media a whole lot until, I guess, I don't know, like 2. I think our contract ends at 3:30, but by 2 o'clock, I would say is when I would check it. But I mean, I'm on social media during my contract school day too, because I have social media in my classroom. So I'll do like Instagram lives of their math lessons in the classroom, or if they're like reading a story, I'll record it in the classroom because I post it to our classroom Facebook page and our classroom Instagrams. So I'm on it anyway. And even now I will go on because I'm uploading their story that I read to them that day. Or like we just started, I had to figure out a way to bring it back. So my coworker and we figured it out to get ABC Countdown coming digitally. And today was A Day, 26 days left of school. And today was A Day. And so we were working on that. And so, I mean, I'm going to have to go on social media to post those pictures too. So I'm on it, but I can't say that I'm like, it doesn't suck my time in. I'm not like, just browsing for 2 hours or anything.
Right.
Now
I'm
for
trying to be
Orange,
respectful of my time. Like I know they're paying me, so I out of like just my own like conscience, I don't want to just sit online. And plus like if I don't do anything for the whole day, I kind of feel crummy anyway. So I try to stay productive during like my contract time. But
we were told not to, and the reason we can, but we just have to watch what we put in. I put stuff like I mailed some parents I miss you, so I put that on Facebook. So I'm doing stuff and I'm trying to promote that, but there has been teachers, and there's always some of those that put on social media, teacher life, I'm on a boat, drinking or something, and just complaining. So they do have those people that could ruin it for us. We were not told that. You just got to be careful. Like what Rochelle said, she's doing stuff online. I do watch Facebook and comments, but I'm also on the school Facebook. I'm always I shared something from the school today. So I just feel we are at home, but I am still working. I agree. You don't want to put something like I'm partying. Hey, what's up? But because it's a sad time. But we are working, and I'm sending reminds every day. So it's a tough subject,
Well, it is a tough subject. And, quite frankly, I think what needs to happen is the normal common sense of you're a teacher. And no, that does not mean that your life doesn't, because I've always been a proponent of, and I am sorry for the light, and if it gets to be too much, I'll take the glasses off, but I'm trying to read the screen.
Oh, looks good.
I can't read the screen without them. I'm like, I can see y'all and I can see the words, but I've been on the computer all day. So I'm like in the evening, I got to put them on in order to read. So the thing about it is that I think common sense should prevail. And I've always been a proponent that, look, just because I'm a teacher doesn't mean I don't have a life outside of the classroom. So I've never been one of those that's like, oh, you're a teacher, you shouldn't be posting anything on your social media with a drink or anything. I didn't, the school I was at and I'll just say it, when I taught at Beta, there was a whole moral clause that we had to sign that was, we couldn't post anything. In fact, we had a teacher get written up because she posted a picture of herself at the beach in a bikini with her family. And her daughter had matching bikinis, and they were at the beach on spring break, and she got called in and got written up for it. And I think that that's stupid. I think stuff like that is dumb. But I do think that we need to be very mindful of, I'm not saying that teachers need to be told to stay off social media. I'm saying that, just like Misty said, don't be posting a picture of yourself at 11 o'clock in the morning, sitting on a boat, drinking a, mimosa, saying party time, blah, blah, blah. Or comments. Some of the ones I've seen have been teachers that have posted them sitting around having a drink, and Carol Baskin did it. I love it. Having a drink. And they're like zoomed with my kids, was done by 10, now I'm having some me time, when our parents are looking to us, because parents are stressed too. I don't want to leave parents out of this as far as
they
are with regard to distance learning. And I know that teachers are stressed because it's new, but parents are looking to that. And I think that we should maintain some sense of professionalism during those contracted hours. I'm not saying stay off. I'm just saying don't post your picture drinking a beer, watching football with the guys, which it's not football season right now. So you know what I mean?
Well, there's no sports in general.
Yeah, there's no sports in
Yeah,
jail.
nothing.
Or there
Exactly.
should be a group of guys.
No. There are videos of sports celebrities playing video games, playing themselves on the video game for their sport. I do not understand that.
As long as they're not paid to play themselves on video games.
Right, exactly. But the point being is that I just think that some common sense needs to prevail. And Missy's right that there are going to be those bad apples that are going to ruin it for everybody. And it's going to be, you're going to see schools coming down and saying, if you are on contracted time, you are contracted, you are getting a paycheck, because quite frankly, and I am no, this is not going to be a popular opinion. I already know it is. But we all know that teachers, well, this part will be, teachers do not get paid enough. We know this, okay? But right now, we are not, as teachers, yes, you're dealing with a lot of stresses. I get that there's a lot of stress that comes with distance learning. You're trying to connect with your students. You're trying to figure out how to connect to them. You're trying to do this. And there's a lot of worry and a lot, because it's new, but imagine if you were doing it once you settled in, and imagine if there was a schedule in place. And I mean, and let's be honest about it. And I can say this because I have taught online. So, and it's scary in the beginning, but once you get into routine, once it becomes the norm, once you get a pattern and a routine down, it becomes easier to do. And it makes me wonder, should we really be complaining about everything that we're having, everything that's having to be done for distance learning? Because unless you're having to sit on that computer from your contracted moment in the morning to your contracted evening, you're still getting your full paycheck. And no, don't get me wrong, it's not near enough for what we should be getting paid.
Yeah, all the overtime, that we've done over the years.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I think common sense should prevail in the fact that, look, you're not having to teach from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we all know a teacher's work is never just 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, but you're not having to be in front of your students from 8 to 4. So stay off. Don't rub it in their faces that
exactly.
you're getting paid your full paycheck, as little as it may be, because it is little. But let's not rub it in people's faces that you're getting paid your full paycheck, but you're not in front of students. And I'm not saying those that are actually doing work from 8 to 4, because I'm sure there are plenty of teachers that are doing that. Rochelle's one of them. I know she is.
I'm probably one of them.
And Rochelle may have some words for me. That's what I can say. But she's like, I've got words. But I just think some common sense. Just don't be doing stuff stupid that's gonna rub it in people's faces, especially because there are so many people that are out of work that are not getting paid.
Yeah, right.
They can't go to work, and we have we are blessed to still be able to work on some level. So. Yeah. And I will be quiet now, and you can throw all the rotten tomatoes you want to at me.
Well,
go, Rochelle.
in our comments, Robin kind of made an interesting point. She said that she is kind of the opinion that because of the move to distance learning, you kind of don't have those contact hours anymore, because like right now she's answering messages and emails, right now, which it's way past what normal contact hours would be. And I would say I would definitely agree with that. At the same time, you have to kind of hope that parents don't take abuse of that. I mean, I had a parent email me at 3:00 in the morning the day that a packet was going to be, and was like, well, he's finished his packet. Can we get the new one in the morning? It's 3:00 in the morning, honey. I'm supposed to be asleep right now.
Yeah, you're gonna get that response when I wake up.
Okay, but let's think about that. And I'm
with those late night, middle of the night texts.
I mean, hey, maybe the mom was working. I don't know. It just seemed a little.
I'm like, you don't have to. And I can already see Shirai is like, wow, in the chat. And I'm like, go.
Hey,
hey, Shirai.
I want to see the chat.
You don't see the chat? I do.
No, I was like, man, we're lame. We're not getting anybody talking to us.
There's chat
on our YouTube channel. Yeah, there's chat on the YouTube channel.
I'm on it, and I don't see no chat.
Oh, now Julie, you don't put your stuff on a website. Do they have that ability? Because like for me, I made all the home learning sheets for first grade all the way to May 22nd now. and it's just all on there so she can have access to it. So y'all,
Well, you see, these are some of our students because we're very rural here.
yeah,
And these are students that have no internet, have no devices.
that's another problem,
They
Julie.
can, yeah, I have 30 kids total between my third and fourth grade groups. And in my third grade group, I have 4 of them that are using packets, 4 out of 14.
Yeah.
Because they have no internet at home or they have no devices on which they can access, because we're using IXL with our students. And they have no way to access it. So, and our second grade and down, our lower grades are all doing packets. Now they are giving them the option if they want to do some stuff on IXL, but for all of our younger students, because many of them don't have access to those devices, they're working on that at home, you know, through packets, which we have to prepare and have ready for them every couple of weeks.
But that's it says, okay, so our governor, Julie and I's governor, said that everybody's gonna be distance learning, but what about a website? You can give them a computer. You can't expect every single parent to be doing the lessons. I have a high school. I don't know how to do that high school math and all that stuff. I'm just having them going on the ACT app. I don't know how to teach high school. Right. So I'm from the parent side too. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's stressful both.
I think it's very interesting because, you know, having taught in some of the districts that I've taught in where I was scrounging up devices for my classroom so that I could be one-to-one, but I was scrounging up. I was like, anybody got a phone they can donate to me? You know, anybody got a device that would have done? And I'm scrounging up devices for my classroom, and I was able to go one-to-one. Yet I see mom, dad walk in with a the latest iPhone or the latest, you know, Android phone or whatever. And it was very, very frustrating. So I hear the complaints about parent, and I'm not saying that all parents are like that. Right. We know that there are plenty of parents and students out there that do not have access to internet, do not have access to these devices, you know, things like that. We know that. But I think that the kind of my point, and I do want to preface again, I admittedly said teachers don't make enough money.
Right,
so,
right.
Whether it's distance learning or whether it's in the classroom learning, teachers are not getting paid enough. Point blank. So I just want to make sure that was clear, because maybe that was I don't want anybody memeing me on Instagram about says teachers don't make enough. Stop complaining because you're at home in your pajamas teaching. Quit crapping about, you know. No, that's not what I said.
Teaching in their pajamas. That's awkward.
Oh, honey, I would so be in my pajamas every day.
Oh no, I could.
I'm in my pajamas.
I have a lot of their PJs,
pajama pants, and a sweatshirt. Yes.
Oh man. Well, with the sweatshirt,
I would look just like this.
I gotta get ready.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt now. I would so look just like this to teach. Absolutely.
No, a sweatshirt, but like I wouldn't like I wouldn't roll out of bed in the shirt that I slept in and teach in that shirt.
Oh, I've done that.
Really? I can't do that, girl.
They might not know. That's your out.
No, I have to like get ready for the day because my class is from 9 to 10. And if I don't get ready for that, I figure I'll never get ready then. I'm big by 10 o'clock.
I do try to get ready, Rochelle. I'm with you. Yeah. I try.
I mean, like it's basically Friday because I wear like my teacher tees and like leggings. Sometimes I'm wearing jeans today because girl feeling fancy. So I wore jeans to this event. But like I usually wear like one of my teacher tees. But like I've seen the videos of work, you know, like what it's like to work from home, and they do like business on top and they're wearing like their pajama pants on the bottom.
Yeah, business.
But like I feel like everybody knows.
It's
so like, no, I have to like get ready for the day and look presentable to teach my class who are just so engaged that I get ready for that.
My favorite thing when I was doing the wigs to teach, my favorite thing was literally I had class that was at 4 a.m. I woke up at 3:45 and I rolled out of bed. I threw that sweatshirt on. Sometimes let's just be real. There were no pants on the bottom because I have hot flashes and I was literally sitting on the couch with the sweatshirt on, and I would throw that wig on, throw some lipstick on, throw these glasses on, and I'm in the front of that camera in 15 minutes and I caught till 9 o'clock. I'm telling you that it's just, I'm there to teach the kids. And, not one time did I ever have a parent gripe about what shirt I was wearing.
Yeah.
So having said that, now I think we kind of, wrapped it. Julie, I wanted to kind of go back a little bit because we were talking about our hot topic of posting on social before we get into the expectations that put on teachers. Julie, have you been told to stay off social media?
Not directly. We've been told that we need to make sure that we are available to our parents and students during our school day hours. It's kind of been, make sure you're available, make sure you're answering emails. If you're doing, the Zoom thing or something similar, that, you're there and available when you say you're going to be during your office hours or whatever. Now, when we were in the brick and mortar, faculty meetings got to the point where it was like almost every time they were telling me, stay off your phones. You shouldn't have your phones out. And I'm like, well, my phone is out because our intercom doesn't work and I need to be able to get information from the high school building where all our kids get checked out. And besides that, I help run all our social media. When you send me and say, hey, post this now, don't you think I got to get on?
Yeah.
So, I mean, my school computer, our Facebook is up all the time because I'm constantly putting stuff on it.
Right.
So, I mean,
and like Class Dojo, we have our phones out and give points on Dojo as long as I think they know. I mean,
I'm on our school social media and thus partly on my social media all the time, even in the brick and mortar building. So, don't sit here and look at me and go and tell me, hey, you can't be on your social media during school hours when you're sitting in your house working on your school stuff.
That's true.
I kind of don't have a choice.
That's true. You're right, Julie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments on there. Y'all see them? Did you want to?
Yeah, they were talking about being 1-to-1 in their districts and sending, Chromebooks.
Shirai has to dress professionally.
Yeah.
But she also said leggings on the bottom.
Leggings on the bottom. Robin was like, sometimes it's pajama pants on the bottom.
Yeah, I was laughing at Robin.
Listen. Y'all would never know. I could be sitting here with no pants on right now and y'all would never know.
No.
I mean, it's true. I think it's just, it's what you feel the most comfortable. Like everybody's going to be different. If I don't personally get ready, I won't get ready. And then by like 5 o'clock and I'll be in my clothes. And like, I'm just like the type that if I don't get ready, I just feel like what did I accomplish for the day? Like part of like having a successful day is like setting yourself up for success. And for some people, it's like getting ready. But then some people get that because they were like, I made a difference because I taught my kids. And that's the success that they need to get through the day. And so everybody's different. Mine, I have to start it with like being somewhat ready for the day. And then I teach and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready. Like, let's go. It's 10 o'clock and I'm going to do this and I'm going to follow my schedule and I'm going to edit this, that, and the other. And all the while emailing and texting parents the rest of the day. Because when you brought up, having to communicate with parents for the whole day is funny because when I hear whole day, I don't hear until 3:30. I hear literally until 10:30 at night.
Well, and people were commenting about that, and Shirai was like, I have to take a shower, brush my teeth, etc. Well, yes, there are certain hygiene things. But Julie and I were having this conversation before we got on here. The pre-show is always funny because most of us are so busy during the week that we don't talk to each other, except we have a chat that we chat with, but the girls will tell you, I'll jump in and like comments because I'm so busy working that I'm like, I don't have time to like chat, and I read them. But so we were right before the show, we were talking, and I had to laugh. I said, I think I'm wearing the same shirt that I had on last week on the show.
I literally, like right before you sent us the link, I looked at last week's because I wanted to check my shirt, and I was literally wearing the same shirt, and I'm like, man, I better change because Girl didn't wear that shirt all week.
I wouldn't even notice it.
It's
But you
warm,
know,
but
but Julie and I had to laugh because I was like, that's how bad the quarantine's gotten that I have a Monday outfit, a Tuesday outfit, a Thursday. And I said, let's be real. Let's put a shirt on and wear it until we cannot stand the way we smell anymore. I mean, because we're not going anywhere. So I'm like, all I did was sit. I mean, I wore this shirt yesterday. I have not worn it more. I washed laundry night before last. So I wore this shirt yesterday. I literally sat in front of my computer all day. And so I got up this morning and I put the sweatshirt back on. I was like, I didn't do anything. So
Dirty?
it was,
No.
But Robin made a good point though. She said she's heard that we need to get dressed for real to make sure that eventually when all of this is over and we do go back, that we have to make sure our clothes still fit.
that's why I'm still putting my jeans on.
Preach it. But look, I know I gained some weight. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
okay, that's some truth. That's a truth bomb there because I'm glad your jeans still fit, Rochelle, because mine do not.
Mine do not. No.
Well, and this is where I'm at though, because everything that I just went through from probably November to up until recently, we were eating fast food. I mean, he lived off of fast food. Like we have a Del Taco right across the street at our new house. And that kid probably ate his weight in Del Taco because I wasn't cooking. I hated our rental. And when we started packing stuff up, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't cooking. I was like, just grab something. And then since we moved and we got settled here, and then when the quarantine happened, I'm cooking every single night.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm done with that meal and we got leftovers, he already knows like we're gonna eat leftovers. And then I'm like cooking a good breakfast. Like I'm not just eating at snack time like I usually do at work, and then eating some like trash, whatever I brought for lunch if I ate lunch. Taco Tuesday, girl, that is speaking to my heart. But I'm eating better. And because I'm eating like actual meals, I'm not snacking as much. Yeah. And I'm like a snacker. And he's like this too. I've noticed he's not eating that much because I'm actually like cooking substance that's filling us, and so we're not snacking as much. So, but girl still puts on jeans because I can't afford to sit there and buy 59 pairs of new jeans.
Well, I just wash the same thing I wear with the same thing over and over.
The other thing that y'all are getting to experience is what I experience all the time now, is being in the same room, or not the same room, but under the same roof with your spouse. So have either one of you tried to like lock your spouse in a closet yet? So
I come and hide in his garage right here. Lord, that's enough of this.
My house, we don't have doors right now.
Oh Lord.
Because we're replacing our doors. And so I couldn't close the door if I wanted to, unless I go outside and close the door behind me.
Well, I guess I better be thankful. Poor y'all.
Well, I live this life all the time. I will tell you, we had an argument earlier today. He's not speaking to me. He can probably hear me out.
Well, I've noticed that nobody's handing you your drinks today.
Well, no. We had an argument before I went to the grocery store, but what's funny is I keep trying to talk to him and I get one answers, and I finally asked him. He said, I'm only talking to you as much as I absolutely have to right now. I'm like, okay, but we're in this small little space.
At least you own it, hey.
I made him mad. I own it, okay. But God love him. I love him to death. And so we get that way. I get that way too. I mean,
yeah, of course. We all are human.
I'd be like, I'm not speaking to you right now. Get away from me. But yeah, so I think it's funny because all of the married couples around the world are now experiencing, we're in our little tin can for 24/7 together. But
unless there's a tornado coming nearby.
Unless there's a tornado.
Oh yeah. Oh
God. That was crazy. So that was crazy last week. So for those of you who maybe don't know or didn't catch it, I don't remember what day that was. It was a few days ago. We actually had tornadoes hit in the area. Storms come through. They hit Monroe. I know for a fact that Monroe got hit. interesting story about Monroe. We were actually scheduled, we are in Alabama currently right now, and we were actually scheduled to leave the area we're in Alabama on the 7th of April. And because of everything going on and our reservations at the place where we were going back in Texas getting canceled because of everything going on, we actually ended up having to stay here. And so we didn't get to leave, but we were supposed to be leaving on the 7th. We were going to take 5 days to drive back to Texas, at which point on the 12th, we would have been in Monroe, Louisiana for the night before hitting our campground in Texas, which means we would have been in Monroe at a campground when the tornado hit.
Yeah.
So I didn't know whether to wake up and say, thank you, Corona, because that's why we were not.
No, that's true.
But
that airport.
But
we did not get away from the drama of the tornadoes, because we actually had several tornadoes touch down around us, and we were watching the weather. We here in the campground we happen to be in here in Alabama, there is an underground shelter, and we basically were sitting and waiting. We had everything packed up. I was talking to the girls. I was like, guys, here's Julie was watching the weather as well, and I was getting updates, and hey, it looks like it's right over you. And it wasn't too long before we had our county called, and then basically told that there was one on the ground about 3 miles from us. So we jumped in the truck, we would grab the dogs, jump in the truck, we drove over to the shelter, we got out, it was pitch black, it was raining hard. It was scary. I mean, the sounds you would hear, I can't even just the storm sounds, but it was eerie. We got into the shelter. You can imagine everybody in there with their masks. Every time mine fell down, because it was just a scarf, I was getting death stares, and I was like, seriously, people, I'm like, you're worried about COVID-19 right now? There's a tornado outside. So
yeah.
From what we can tell, when we've talked to people, it basically hit, and then it basically jumped us, and then it hit again.
Wow.
So we never heard anything. I do remember at one point them shutting the door to the shelter. There was a whole bunch of kids in there, shutting the doors to the shelter, and we basically just hunkered down for about maybe 7 to 10 minutes, and then they opened the door back up, and they waited till the actual warning to be released from the National Weather Service, and then we all went back to our trailers. And I actually had started the Instant Pot right before we got the warning to go. So when we got back, we had a hot roast and potatoes and carrots waiting for us.
There you go.
And I was like, God, it's still here. So, but anyway, so everybody was safe, but it was very eerie. It was a crazy situation. But we actually were going to talk about, I just told that because I don't know why, but anyway, we were going to talk about the unrealistic expectations being put on teachers. Yeah, squirrel. You can
squirrel. That's us.
We were going to talk about the unrealistic expectations put on teachers with regard to distancing. So I have heard things from all the way from one end of the spectrum being that we just made packets, we sent them home, and everybody's, we're just, no, we don't have to contact them, we don't have to talk to them, we sent some packets home, we don't really have to do anything, we're just waiting it out. All the way to we have to be on the computer from 8 to 3 or 8 to 4 every day, and our students are basically switching classrooms and teachers like they would if they were on campus. So where do y'all fall in that?
And Rochelle, I know you got a lot more than Julie and I think.
Yeah,
I've been in the digital trenches the longest. I mean, I don't teach VIP kid, but my district or my state shut down before yours. So we
right.
This for March 27th was my first day.
Yep.
They let us go March 13th.
Yeah, we as teachers had to go back to school on the 16th and 17th, and it was that week that we kind of started having our kids somewhat do stuff.
Well, we didn't come back the week before. That's the first week because I was tired of doing nothing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let's just get on Zoom and let's just start learning. So Monday we had show and tell to get the kids used to talking on camera, because I didn't want them to be shy. I wanted participation. And so we did show and tell on that Monday. And then Tuesday I brought my letter board home and I was building words, and they had to tell me what words. We did thumbs up, thumbs down. So like, we've been doing it since March 27th. Granted, our district, it was not expected until April 6th. So I started early because that was my choice.
Yeah.
And then poof, Zoom goes away.
Yeah. And then WebEx came.
Yeah, ours is Blackboard Collaborate, and we're having an issue with that too. It's just you can only see 4 people. How fun is it if you don't get to see all your kids? It's just
yeah. So you can only have 4 people in the room at a time.
You can only see 4 people. And we're still trying to figure out if you could talk. It pops up kind of like Microsoft Teams, but the kids are there, and I'm just gonna start off with just talking. I just want to talk to them. I don't. I do want to teach them, but right now I just want to see them. I haven't seen them since they told us we can't do Zoom anymore.
Why I started with the show and tell.
That's fun. Absolutely.
And they did more talking than I did on that show and tell day, because I gave like this is the directions, like, so they kind of know what they're going to talk about. And then for like 45 minutes, it was just them talking to each other and me just like listening, like just watching them talk about the
that's the fun stuff,
and like just enjoying them.
And
that was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, was it? And what's funny is because at a local paper that I think they were trying to find out how we do distance learning, and somebody actually interviewed and called, and I was like, yeah, we're doing Zoom. And then like the week later, the parents said we're not using it. And I was like, I hope they're not publishing that on the paper. We can't do it anymore. I was like, yeah, we're doing some Zoom. And no, not anymore. It looks like Shirai. Yeah.
Shirai said that they're doing a Fun Friday Zoom meeting. So Shirai, y'all are still using Zoom
with kids, Shirai, or we could do adults still.
And then she said they're doing teaching videos in Google Classroom, but she's not live teaching. Robin and them are using Google Meet.
I want Google Meet. We're just not a Google district.
And they have to be available for 2 45-minute tutorials Monday through Thursday. So, I've seen, and like, I think really and truly, Robin said it, I think really hit the nail on the head when she said, or lack thereof, no direction, just provide learning opportunities. And I think that is one of the reasons why we're seeing such a gamut from one side of the spectrum to the other of what this distance learning thing looks like. I don't think it's just about, and this is what's so frustrating for me, and I'm not even in the classroom, I'm just frustrated for y'all, is that I'm looking at this from the perspective of, if I was a teacher still in the classroom, or if I was a parent with school-age children still, I would be very, very frustrated because there has been no normalization of what this should look like.
Right.
And I get that not every student can have a device. Not every student has access to internet, but even within our schools and our brick and mortar schools, there is inequality when it comes to our student populations. And we do things to try to normalize and make things equal. Now, and you can pop up all the memes you want to about one of my favorite ones is all the kids standing at the fence watching the sports game in the boxes, and it's like equal doesn't always, whatever that meme is. And the thing about it is, though, is there was no direction giving. A lot of teachers were basically told, figure out how you're going to meet with your students, figure out how you're going to keep them learning. Or even like Shirai, you've got to be available for 2 45-minute sessions. There's been a lot of control, and I'm not saying that control is a bad thing, but there's been a lot of control given over to the teachers to figure it out. But what that has caused is some very big inequalities
Yeah, we all doing something different.
All doing
in
something
what
different.
students are getting as far as an education. So Julie, you mentioned earlier that one of your parents had emailed saying that he was very concerned about the quality of education that his child was getting. And I can't, I mean, I understand how frustrating that can be, but as a parent looking at what's going on, I can totally understand why a parent might feel that way.
Right.
Because one teacher in Arizona who is busting her hump, working 12 hours a day, trying to figure out how to come up with engaging lessons for her students and meeting with her kids for an hour and a half to 2 hours a day on whatever platform and sending them stuff in Google Classroom versus the teacher in, and I'm going to pick a state, Idaho. And pardon me if there's anybody from Idaho who's doing this.
You working hard, we know.
That made a packet of worksheets that was sent home the first day all this happened and hasn't talked to their students, met with their students or nothing since all this happens. I can totally get why parents might be frustrated because they're seeing all this stuff
All
and
the differences.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
then you've got teachers who are just stepping up and going above and beyond what was expected of them. And it's all over, Teachergram. And those those teachers, there are even teachers who were told they can't contact their students, and so I don't know. I just feel like, were y'all given direction or were you given, what were you given? I'm going to pull it out of you. They do not want to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. They are like,
no, we had a parent, I think like what you said, parents were complaining to the school board because it's not all the same. They're probably seeing a friend's kid's teacher that's doing all this stuff, and then their kid's teacher is not doing anything. So we were told to go and post stuff on Blackboard because parents are complaining that we are getting paid, we need to be doing stuff. So that's our platform is Blackboard. So we've added all of this stuff, but we can't use Zoom. So they gave us another, Blackboard Collaborate, but it's still not working. So I'm open to it. I'm not being negative, but no one said, like what you said, a set thing. Okay, teachers, you're going to do this.
Right.
And this and this. It's just post something on Blackboard to show that you are doing something. And that's kind of what it is right now with us. I don't know about
it's kind of the same way for us. I mean, our older students, the teachers have been using Google Classroom all year long. So for them, it really wasn't necessarily anything different.
Right.
They kept pushing things through and still are pushing things through Google Classroom and using like the Google Meet or Hangouts or whatever it is, when needed to meet with their students. But those of us in the lower grades, we're not using Google Classroom with our kids. So it's kind of like, what do we do with them? And, like I said earlier, our second grade and down, they're sending home packets that are, roughly 2 to 3 week packets of different skills for them to continue to work with. I've been using, I call it my teacher YouTube channel. It kind of collected dust for a while, but I've sort of through some.
It can be next to my website.
Well, I mean, the videos I've been putting up, they're not of me on camera. Because, oh Lord, I don't want to put me on camera these days.
I watched one.
But I've been making new videos on either skills we finished like right before we got cut off, or skills that were going to be coming up that were related to it. And I'm making these little, 5-10 minute videos that kind of explain it. And I'm like, okay, here is the video. Now you're working on IXL at home. Here are the IXL skills that match it. So, I mean, I'm not doing it real time. Now we do have some teachers that have been using Zoom with their classes. Because kind of in it, like with Misty, because I can't guarantee that the parents will be sitting there with the kids, I don't feel comfortable using Zoom with my kids. And to know the fact that if I go to my third grade group, a third of my kids I will not see regardless because they have no way to get in it. Yeah. And it's that equitability thing. I don't want to be on camera live teaching brand new material when I know a third of my kids will never see it.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's the way that if for those of us in our upper elementary have, or, half middle school, is it's, in your IXL, we've made some recommended skills. You're going to work on X amount of those skills to a certain SMART score every week in the different content areas, so that they're still working on content. And a lot of what we've been putting out are review skills, because I don't feel comfortable putting new content out that I haven't physically been in a classroom with my students to work with them on, where I can get feedback when I give them questions to answer and I'm seeing I've got half of them that are not getting them right. Well, let me go back and take it step by step and reteach it.
Right.
I'm not going to get to see that.
Mm-mm.
So am I pushing out a lot of brand new, we've never done it in the classroom content? No. Because as a teacher, I don't feel comfortable doing that, because my kids may not have parents sitting there with them, or they may not have parents to help them with it later if they get stuck with it.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about that. We've put all these expectations on teachers to step up and and I applaud those teachers that are going above and beyond and doing things that are not expected, that are holding. I mean, there's even one teacher who I absolutely love to death, who is on Teachergram, who is setting up guided reading time for his students, and it's got a schedule, and parents can sign up for their student to come do their guided reading instruction. And I love that, and I applaud that. I do, however, feel like because everybody's going to do was trying to do what's best for their kids, but I do feel like there's even some inequality now with teachers, and because they not all the teachers have the same ability, but also, when are we going to hold why are we holding teachers accountable for things if we're not going to be holding the parents accountable for things as well? And I know that is a huge point of contention where Rochelle is concerned. It would be a point of contention where I'm concerned. I've been in that situation where I was telling the girls before, where I'm teaching a student, and happens to be about a 12-year-old student who was happened to be a lower level ELL, and I'm teaching him, and the whole time he's barely answering me, and I'm going through all of the lesson, and I can't get him to converse with me. And he's got a mirror on his closet door behind him, and I can see he's playing a video game. And we have in our platform, Misty and I, having taught with VIP Kid, we have what's called the fireman that we can actually contact, and we can tell them, hey, this is going on in class. It is wasting my time. There are other students who would love to have had this slot with me, and so this is wasting my time. I realize the parents are paying for their student to be here. However, and those firemen, because I can tell you, the minute I hit that and say, hey, this student is not paying attention, they're playing video games through the whole lesson, and it's only a 25-minute lesson. Firemen are on the phone, and next thing you know, here comes mom screaming and yelling in the background through the door, busting the door open, and the kid trying to get the video game off, and all that, and me trying to hold back a laugh. But that's my point, is it's really sad that other countries parents take their children's education so much more serious
Yes,
than
they do.
our country does.
They
And
do it.
those parents are held accountable, because I can guarantee you, and Misty can back me up on this, if that parent had blown it off and been like, I'm paying for my kid to be there, my kid can do whatever he wants to do, they would have shut the lesson down, and they would have been like, bye, y'all aren't wasting my teacher's times. And that's exactly what would have happened. And that's not going to happen in our country, because we don't hold our parents accountable. So when you've got kids who are saying, and I understand a first grader, I mean, again, I have taught that 5-year-old on the other side of the screen, and you've got to be this animated, actor and actress dressed up in a clown costume. Okay, maybe not a clown costume, because I'm scared of clowns, but you know what I'm saying? In order to keep their attention, and I get it. But at the same time, when you've got younger students like that who can't hold their attention very long, the parents need to be there, and we need to be expecting parents to be there, or an adult. And I get, before everybody starts screaming at me, I get that parents have to work. I get it. I understand. That's why you have another adult, somebody, something happens. But this is a problem. This just goes to show that so many parents think of school, we are glorified babysitters to them.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That is a huge problem. Huge problem. All right, I'll get off.
That's my problem now. So like I said, I've been doing this since the 27th, and it was great until I feel like this week, today was, I think, the worst day, because I'm sitting here like busting butt trying to make things fun. And I've done theme weeks since we got out. Like, we did Spirit Week, and then we did whatever week was after Spirit Week, and then we did whatever week was after that week after Spirit Week. I mean, everything blends together. But I did something every single week. Like, I'm trying to make it fun. I'm trying to stay in contact with my kids, so they feel like, oh, even though I can't go to school, my teacher still cares about me, because she's putting forth this effort to stay in contact with me. And so I'm doing all this. Like I said, I got ABC Countdown because I was too proud to let that go this year. So it's modified and started, and I got pictures of it. But like, it frustrates me that I go through all of this, and then I get kids on camera that are just playing on their bed. Like, where's the packet that I provided you? Where is that? Like, I don't understand, like, why you're playing with a Nerf gun in the background. Or the other day, there was a kid, he just like all these balloons, and he kept throwing them at the camera. And I'm like, who is watching you? That, like, they hear me teaching, because he's not wearing headphones, so I know that the whole world in that house can hear me teaching. Is not seeing that you're throwing balloons at the camera for 20 minutes. Or like another one that's constantly like this. The entire time I'm sitting watching his fingers cover the camera. And it's like, I'm trying to teach, and my kids, because we're on WebEx, so if they should choose, they could see everybody. And it's a distraction. And like, I'm distracted because I have this like jank thing next to me that I put my phone on, and I'm using that as a document camera. And then like, I'm teaching into the camera while I'm writing under my jank document camera. And my whole view is the grid, so I can see my kids. And so when they raise their hand to the kids that are still listening and participating, I can unmute them and they can answer. But I can also see the 5 kids that were goofing around today that I just wanted to like text their parents and say, you know what, can you just get them off WebEx for today? Because they're not doing their work. Like, they're just a distraction. They're jumping on the bed.
Checked out.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they less and less at the beginning. They were like, I want packets. But now I kind of feel like they're kind of like, I'm not worried about it because I'm not going back. Do you think that that's why they're doing that?
100%. Because 2 weeks ago, I was getting 20 some kids out of 25 on daily. And so my highest number was 22 kids, but I confirmed 23 out of my 25 kids can in fact sign on. I've only seen, or I only haven't seen 2 kids, and one of them like legit, I know I'm not going to see her. I've spoken to her aunt, like, I know. The other one, not sure. But the other 22, I have seen them, but now I feel like I don't, and like, it's one thing if it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, we missed class today. You know, one of the kids woke up sick, and I get that. Okay, so life happened. It would be like the same as if they had an absence for the day, but like, don't go on and like put your child on for a day and then for 5 consecutive days text me and pretty much make me feel like, you know what, you're not important enough. So, you know, we're just gonna go do our own thing, and then, you know, and they'll do the packet when we have time. And it's like, okay.
Well, it comes down to respect. I mean, it really does come down to whether or not these parents, whether parents respect the ability, or the respect the education that their students are getting. And I get it. I know that there are teachers out there with small children
Yes.
who are not only
Right.
trying to teach their students, but they've got their
Yeah.
own, you know, Misty just said, I can't teach college algebra. I have
Oh,
no
wow.
idea, you know, and as a former homeschooler, I'm sitting back going, you know, there, and I realize we can't do some of that stuff because, you know, of the pandemic. I say pandemic, I shouldn't put that in quotes because it's a real pandemic. But we can't do those things because of the so it's not like, you know, as a homeschooler, if I didn't know, like I didn't know algebra, I would have found somebody that was good at algebra and I would have collaborated with that other person for them to
Mhm.
teach algebra and so forth. But those are the types of things that could happen even through a platform like Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that. So, Misty, you've got somebody who you've got a student or you've got a child, not a student, but you've got a
Mhm.
child who needs help with, did you say algebra? Is that what you
High
said?
school, just math. I mean,
Just high school math. Well,
anything high
finding
school.
somebody who teaches high school math or just another human that
Mm.
knows a lot about high school math that can tutor them, you know, those are the kinds of things that I think should be happening. And there should be things in places at schools, for example, your child's high school putting out some sort of list of people that they can contact for help and so forth. But I get that it's a struggle because if you're a teacher trying to teach your own students and then you've got your kids who need to be online, especially if you got small first graders, kindergarten, first grade, those kind of things that need to be online, you know, it's a juggling game. But looking to our audience, you know, Robin said that they also, my dogs are barking now. They started Google Classroom. Thank God they started Google Classroom.
Oh, so they already knew how to do that. That's good, Robin.
Thank God. And Robin even said, thank goodness it's the fourth 9 weeks and mostly everything's been taught. I've been saying that from the beginning.
Right, right.
It's very
I'm
true.
like, you know, by spring break, I generally had everything taught. And when we came back from spring break, we only had about 3 weeks till testing anyway. So it was like
Right.
test prep after spring break. And then Shirai was like, they were told not to record because of FERPA. But Robin brought up a good point. She said, I heard that we shouldn't have parents, because we're talking about parents sitting with their students.
Uh-huh.
We shouldn't have parents and siblings on the Zoom or Google Meet or whatever platform because of FERPA. Here's my thing. I've actually heard some people say that too. Here's my question. I don't know about y'all, but I had parents that came and sat in my classroom all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
physically
yeah.
came and sat in my classroom. So
See,
why is that any different?
They won't let them do that at my school because of the privacy of the other students,
Really?
especially because of students that have IEPs, 504s, who may receive accommodations during a lesson while that adult that is not a faculty staff member would be present to witness it. So they kind of,
Okay, but let's preface that you're at a private school.
Yes.
So there's a difference because in a public school, if my child is in a public school classroom, they cannot prevent me from going in and observing my child.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
wondering,
wouldn't that still be a privacy issue though, even if it is a public school?
but
I
that's
feel like it's one thing, like I have parents that they would come in and volunteer. Like I feel like some parents just wanted to live in my room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? As long as you want to help me out, you can come live in my room. I think it's one thing if they're like helping with like art projects and stuff like that, but like you
Right.
can't, if parents are like testing them in any type of way that they can see that there's
different.
something going on, then I feel like
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
where the privacy is. But like if I have parents coming in because they're teaching art masterpiece, or they're coming in because they're gonna, you know, do that month's handprints, or they're doing an art project with them, that's not giving away that they could be possibly on an IEP, or that they could have speech delays, or that, I mean, that's just coming in and helping the teacher out. So that's,
Well, and a lot of time, I mean, I don't know, but most of the time that I had a parent coming in and spending any amount of time in my classroom, it was because they were there to observe their child. And you know, there are going to be their child was usually the one on an IEP. Let's be real here. But there may be other kids that are on IEPs, and as long as I'm not discussing that child's
Directly.
academic and stuff in front of that parent, the parent just simply seeing how these children act and what they do. I mean, that's that's gonna
That's like
happen.
the requests that we've had at our school from parents. It's kids that have had, that are having these recurring behavior issues and things
Yeah.
like that. And it's like, well, I want to come sit in the classroom and see what the kid is doing. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been under several different administrators over the 20 years that I've been there, and they've all said no because of the privacy of the other kids.
Well, and
Regardless if it was educational time or, fun project time. Now, I mean, we still in our lower grades, they'll still do, pumpkin decorating at Halloween, or, if fun little projects at Christmas time where the parents as a big group would get to come in and do things with the kids. But during actual regular instructional time
right.
has been
Well, I don't really see how they'd be able to stop them from sitting in on a Zoom. And Robin says, but it wouldn't be a popping kind of thing, so that a teacher would be able to prepare. You know, I don't
I don't know.
I don't know about
Prepare
that.
what?
I mean, yeah, I'm prepared for what? I mean, prepare for the parent being in the classroom.
I'm going to teach the same regardless of who's in my room. I don't care if a parent's in my room. I don't care if my principal's in my room. I don't care who's observing me. I don't change my teaching because somebody else is in my classroom.
Well, and I'll be the first one to say
Got
that.
their doggy pony show, right?
No, and I'll be the first one to say that parents who want to come watch their child who's having behavior problems, they were like, well, I want to come sit in and watch my student. I'm the first one to look at them and go, they're not going to do it if you're
They're
sitting.
not going to do it.
And that's it. We can record it, but
I would much more prefer, let's put up a video camera and just let's videotape the entire day.
that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. So, but apparently, that they could come in and observe, but there can't be a video.
Right.
That makes no sense to me.
But
So,
I have parents that are in my WebEx, they just sit like hang out next to their kid. Now, there's a couple that I know why they're sitting there because I know that child. So I appreciate that they're sitting right next to that child.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are other parents that hang out, and I mean, I'm not taking care of a bunch of kids throughout the day, but I mean, she just hangs out. And
yeah.
she worked, well, I mean, she still works at our school, but I mean, nobody's working at our school right now, but she was like a parent that would work at our school.
Yeah.
And so like, I have a good relationship with her, so I don't mind that she's there. And then every once in a while, like, I don't know, we would say a comment, it would make me giggle because we kind of had the same like sarcastic humor, but she would just sit and just hang out. And
well, Robin made a good point. Now Robin clarified. She said, I'm bad about accommodating on the fly. Guilty.
Yeah.
So modifying work that needed to be modified ahead of time versus doing it right there in the moment on the fly. Yeah, I can see where that might be. But this talking about, being on camera with your student, with a parent being on camera with the student during teaching, I don't think, or at least being, because most of the time, and Missy will say, even when we're teaching, most of the time the parents aren't on camera. They're within arm's reach. Let me
some are on their own and some of them are right there.
Different country. But so they're within arm's reach, and they're gonna jump in if they need to.
not all.
Well, but I just think that we've put these expectations on teachers to do things without giving them any type of guidance or structure to be able to do it and do it equally. Now, we all know that even all the four of us in our classrooms, when we're in the classroom, don't necessarily have equal teaching resources, because some of us can have access to one-to-one devices. Some of us have access to, smart boards. Some of us have access. And so we as teachers are always trying to find ways to try to bring the quality of education to equal so that all kids are getting the same thing. But I think we have a great opportunity here with what we're doing with virtual and distance learning to be able to do that. But it's going to take people stepping up and putting some things in place and some structure so that it one kid's not meeting with their teacher every day for an hour and the other kid is meeting with their teacher for 30 minutes a week.
Yeah, can we
That's
just,
different.
that's what like gets me like super heated, because can we just, because I get it's not going to be equal amongst all the kids, because I mean the country can't just drop a ton of laptops into these families' hands. And that's just it. Like if we're talking, if we want equality for the whole school or the whole country, then they should have just been like, you know what, we're not going to come back, and just call it a year and make the whole country just pick it up when we come back in the fall.
Mhm.
And then you know what? That's equality, because all those
Right.
kids are going to come back in the fall and they're all going to get the same content, not just the kids that are showing up. Because unlike Julie, I'm teaching new content, not next week, but the following. Because I think that what's happening is I provided a packet. And so parents don't see value in me because they have the packet. So now they're starting to like not really sign on, and if they are, it's like
Mhm.
kind of sporadic. It's not consistent like it was before I gave them
Right.
the packet.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start teaching new math concepts, but in order for your child to get it, they got to come, which isn't true for me because I record our WebEx and I put it unlisted on my YouTube, and then I send my parents the link and say, in case you missed our class, like here's the link so they can watch it whenever's most convenient. Because I know there are parents that have like multiple kids at home, and you know what, sometimes it's hard to get one of the kids ready by 9 o'clock to be in class, and that's just reality. They may not be telling me, and I know that that's the case for some of them, and I'm not going to hold them accountable because
Or they
that's
only got one device. They've got 3 kids and one device.
exactly
One device.
But like our school tried to set up where like kindergarten goes at this time, first grade goes at this time, second grade's at this time, but then like our speech teacher is trying to push groups in, and she's doing wonderful. For having to like figure out all of her groups to see her kids to still accommodate what their IEP says that they should be getting, like she's still servicing their hours. But like what gets me heated is what you just said, Farah. Can we talk about that? It's not like there's no expectation, like there wasn't a plan put on teachers as to this is what you're expected to do. Because for me, like, and it can't be the whole country, because like you ladies, you have different situations, whereas like my state called it earlier, so we're in our own bubble. But can I say, like, my district should have told all of our teachers, this is your expectation, this is how many days you should be doing live teaches, or we're not going to do live teaches, this is how many days you have to upload a video of a lesson, and then these are the hours that you have got to be answering questions, you need to be in your team chats for your school, like these are the expectations. Because what I'm realizing right now is I'm reading to my kids every single day. Is that expected? Absolutely not. But do I want to? Yes, I do, because I care about my class. So I'm reading those books, and not only am I reaching the class that I have currently this year, but I'm reaching the class that I had last year, the class that I had 2 years ago, and then the kids that I had at my old school that have added me as well. So I'm reaching a ton of kids, and by doing something simple as to reading to them could bring comfort to them, because they're seeing a familiar face and they know that I'm going to do that Monday through Friday for them. Even if it's an 8-minute video of a silly book, they're going to get that consistency from me. But that's not expected, so not everybody does it, nor not everybody should. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But then I'm teaching 1-hour classes 5 days a week from 9 to 10. Other teachers are only teaching Monday, Wednesday, Friday for an hour, and then they sit on a WebEx for an hour 2 days a week because it's office hours. So they just wait for kids to show up, and if they don't, they're like, well, that's it. And my office hours are, hey man, I start 7:30. Don't talk to me between 9 and 10, 10 o'clock to, hey, whenever you want, text me, email me. I'm going to respond because they're the parents. So there are families that are like, well, if you didn't email me, or if you didn't jump on WebEx between 11 and 12, I guess on Thursday you can do that, and then I'll answer your question.
And some people aren't even techie, like what you said. I mean, some people might not. I know a lot of them don't even know how to do. I'm recording some lessons on an app, Deseri. Some of these teachers have no idea how to get on that.
but
Girl,
they're
we got-
sending out videos.
got coworkers. Let's be real. We got teacher coworkers that don't know how to send an email without reply all. So get that. Okay. I mean,
I want to tell them so
Okay,
bad.
but reaching out and finding resources. Like I didn't know how to use Zoom. I didn't know how to use WebEx, but girl, I watched YouTube videos.
Not
I
everybody
learned
does
how to do it because you know what? What am I doing from 7:30 until 3:30? I'm not twiddling my thumbs. I'm literally watching YouTube videos on how to use these platforms.
But some don't. They asked me a question and all I did was Google it. And I said, all I do
Exactly.
is Google it.
But
All
like,
you have to do.
if it's not an expectation, then who cares? Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm sitting there for 2 hours watching WebEx videos and Zoom videos on YouTube. And then I have people that just text me and they're like, hey, like, can you jump on and just show me like how to do this? And I'm like, wait, so I took 2 hours of my time paid for my time to learn how to do this. And then I'm going to teach it to you in 10 minutes. Like, it's not fair because I feel like some teachers are giving more because like I'm guilted if I goof around during that time. I feel awful because it's like I robbed my district because I wasn't working. But then others is like, I don't know if you came back, you drinking coffee, and then you text me because I'm techie and you ask me how to do something. And it's like, well, that's not fair because I just spent 2 hours researching this and then I'm going to teach it to you in no time when you could have done the same research.
Yep.
So it's just like the
And then if you don't help
are
them,
equal.
seems like you're being a
Right.
bee.
And then
You don't help them.
right. And then like I feel like garbage because I have parents that of kids in my class currently that will email and text me saying, well, my other son or my other daughter, I can't get a hold of their teacher and I can't get them on X, Y, and Z, whatever platform, because we've got Freckle, Google Classroom, we've got WebEx, like it's so many different platforms going on at my school that parents are just like, you know what, I'm done. Their teacher won't help me. And then I'm helping them get their other student on, and they're not even my student, but their teachers aren't helping them because I don't know why. And it's just like, how come I'm the one that's doing all this, but like, what is everybody else doing? I don't know everybody's situations. I'm just saying.
No.
but let's just be real. I mean, that stuff goes on even when we're not in a pandemic and we're not doing learning because you know, it never failed that I'd have an admin come to me and go, so I saw you doing this in your classroom. Could you show the rest of the school how to do that? And let's be real, teachers do not like to be told how to do something.
No.
That they don't like to be told that. They don't like to be told how to do something different than what they want to do. And that's just a problem we have with teachers. I mean, and look, I am one, so I can say that about my own profession.
But some teachers, it's not because they don't want to do it. Some teachers, and like I'm sorry if I call you out right now. Some teachers just don't want to do the extra mile.
Yes.
It's don't tell me that, because I mean I have parents that are like, well, how come you are reading books to my kid, but like their teacher's not? How come you're doing ABC Classroom, but my kid isn't? How come you're sending home sight word cards, but my kid didn't get any? And it's grade level. I have parents that sign up for my newsfeed that I don't have their kid, but they can see what my class is doing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I sent it to your child's teacher and I don't know why it wasn't sent out to you. Sorry, but it doesn't come down to they don't want to be told. Sometimes it's they just don't want to go the extra mile. Like I'm an extra mile teacher because I will go down and I will do what I need to with my kids or for my kids. I do things that for my kids that aren't even my kids.
Yeah.
But
you know, when we've got teachers who get on, and don't think I'm ignoring your comments because I'm reading the comments.
But yeah, we got to read those. Sorry, y'all.
We've got teachers that are on platforms and bulletin boards, and I will not name which one it is. But when you've got teachers who come on there, and there are a lot. I mean, I'm one of them. There are a lot of teachers who have left the classroom to pursue our businesses in the educational realm, whether it be we're providing professional development, we're providing resources, we're providing training, we're providing whatever we're doing. And as soon as this happened, there were most of us that are in this online edupreneur space. Most of us know how to use all these platforms that teachers like yourself, Rochelle, were thrown into having to learn how to do. And they came on and they used their channels or their platforms or their business, whatever, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, and they started providing training. They started providing training on Google Classroom. I did a training on Google Classroom. They provide training on Google Meet. They provide training on this. They set up and built an entire course for distance learning and resources to come and get to help you through distance learning, because some teachers were like, yes, you know what, I will pay $99 or whatever it is for somebody to hold my hand through this. And yet we have teachers, our colleagues, that want to get onto platforms and want to be snarky and degrading, because a teacher who maybe she taught in the classroom for 5 years before leaving the classroom to pursue her business, somehow that teacher is not qualified to teach things about distance learning. And quite frankly, I find that absolutely ridiculous, because I don't care how long you've been in the classroom or you've been out of the classroom. Sure, I spent 20 years in the classroom and I've got that experience, and I did, technology with my kids pretty much all of those years. But Rochelle, how many years have you been in the classroom?
This is my 8th year,
right.
But my district did that too, though, because the year that we were when we did Scholar Blab show.
Yeah.
Okay. So that year when I was learning all of those new platforms on how to teach with technology, and I had tech in my kids' hands constantly. And so I originally applied to leave the classroom and be a tech trainer, where I would take on like 4 schools and I would go around and teach them all of these platforms and how to bring technology. And they told me I didn't have enough teaching experience.
That's my point. That's absolutely ridiculous, because if you know the platform and you have the experience using these platforms and using, you know what? There are none of us who have the experience of teaching during a pandemic. So stop your snarkiness. Stop. We're all trying to just give our expertise on some platform or whatever it is. Take it, leave it, move on. If you don't need it, then don't use it. It's really that simple. But I feel for teachers, because we want it, there's so much expertise out there, and those that do want it, that do want the help, we're trying to give it to those teachers. But then, like you said, there are some that they don't want to. They saw this pandemic as an extended spring break. That's what they saw it as.
Yep.
And if you are one of those teachers, I am calling you out, because that's absolutely ridiculous. Going to our comments, Rochelle, you got a very nice comment. Robin says, your IG makes me want to be better. It is motivation. Yes, I love watching Rochelle's IG too. So Robin's had to step up and teach people how to do stuff. And Shirai says, got Google Voice. Oh, Robin says, I gave my phone number to parents. Listen, I probably would have too. Don't feel bad. I did it every year.
My number too.
People yelled at me for it too.
Some have mine.
It just, there are unrealistic expectations. Just to wrap this up, because we've gone over a little bit. We said we were going to do an hour and we get to talking and it just happens. But, there are unrealistic expectations put on teachers, and not the unrealistic. I don't believe that the unrealistic expectation is that teachers should be teaching their kids right now. I do think we should be teaching our kids, especially now that school districts all over have decided to call it for the rest of the year. They're not going back. And so I do think there needs to be something in place. I think now is the time to get it into place and start working out kinks and figuring out what's going to happen, because I'm going to predict, this is just my prediction, I don't think we'll be going back in August. That's just my prediction. I know that's sad. I know.
I saw that.
But I just don't think we'll be going back in August. And I hope I'm wrong.
I know.
But figuring it out now and getting things in place now and working out the kinks means that if we have to continue teaching this way next year, that we can already have the bugs worked out and we can make sure that our students are getting what they need starting with next year. Now's the time to get the bugs worked out. But the unrealistic expectation is that we don't have any type of guidance for our teachers. That some are doing packets, some are meeting with their kids once a week, some are meeting every day, some are meeting all day, 5 days a week.
That's what I think needs to be put into place.
Written in writing.
That needs to be put into place, because right now, if we're talking about equality for kids not getting the same, well, teachers aren't equally teaching either. Like,
no.
Not at
and
all.
like in some places, I know it's harder than others, but I mean, it should match your district, because like my district is the largest district, and we have some low income areas, but then there are other districts that are doing okay, that they might be able to provide one-on-one. My district cannot. There's no humanly possible way that we can provide one-on-one. We can't.
No.
And so it should match the district. If my district all said everybody needs to do an hour a day, whether it's an hour-long video or if it's an hour-long live, or 2 30-minute sessions a day or 3 days a week, but it needs to be equal, because otherwise we have parents complaining that, well, their child isn't seeing their teacher because their teacher isn't walking me through how to get online, so I gave up. But like my other child gets to see their teacher, and it's not fair.
Totally.
It's not fair for teachers that are teaching, because our district wasn't given any type of guideline. And so I'm like, well, it makes sense for me to just do an hour a day. So then it stays consistent. It's easy to remember for the parents. Like, there's one picture that a parent posted, and on her like calendar dry erase in the background, it had all 3 of her kids and all 3 of their WebEx times.
Yeah.
And they were 3 different times, but one of them was 5 days a week and one of them was 3 days a week. And I'm like, how come I'm teaching 5 days a week and another is only teaching 3? So like, what you doing those other 2 days? I'm just curious, because like, if I could get paid and only teach 2-3 days a week, I mean, that sounds great, to pull in a paycheck but do less, or not do less, because they could be doing
Other
not
stuff.
lives,
Yeah.
not lives 2 days a week. They could be just posting a video. I don't know. I'm just a benefit of the doubt, but
I
I
think
think it needs to be consistent for the district. This is your expectation. So every student that can sign on is getting the same amount of instruction as another school in the same district, as another grade level in the same school, as another first grade teacher than another first grade teacher. Because right now, like, even our first grades aren't all in sync with what we're doing.
Oh, no. We have 7 first grade teachers.
Robin made the comment, the governor, here in Texas is supposed to have a press conference tomorrow, and speculated that he'll make an announcement of the whole state, or whether or not he's going to leave it up to local districts. And I can tell you right now, if Governor Abbott here in Texas decides that districts will decide whether they go back or not, versus I think you're going to have you're going to have chaos.
Oh yeah, one district in a city away from you at school, but you don't know.
All or nothing. All or nothing.
Julie, we can't hear you. Julie, we can't hear you.
Would help if I unmute the microphone. I have a cat over here that's causing trouble, and they knocked down
that baby.
Oh, I see.
But
well, go ahead.
Say, Louisiana is sort of in that boat, where the governors made this proclamation that we are not physically going back to the school for the rest of the year. We're not going in our actual brick and mortar schools, but distance learning, whether that be a high-tech version or a low-tech version, will continue. But whether kids are promoted to the next grade level, whether they get to graduate, and all of this is left up to the individual school districts.
Yeah, ours is. I saw Sherrod. They have grades, and we don't.
So it's kind of like,
they're taking the top grade of the the
Yeah.
first 3 9 weeks and using that one for the fourth 9 weeks.
Yeah, our grades are whatever they got third quarter, they
Mhm.
cannot receive anything lower than that grade. So if they received a 3 in
Mhm.
print concepts, they cannot receive anything lower. But we were told that if they show up to class and they have participation, we can bump them up to a 4.
Oh, we're just
But
doing the
to
top
me,
score. That's tough to
that
figure
doesn't
that
make
out.
still getting-
sense because a 4 to me means that they've mastered it. But they
Yeah.
may not have mastered it, but they showed up to
Probably
class.
the highest.
So
You're
my
still getting
kids are
grades.
getting third quarter grades again. Honestly, I think we should just leave fourth quarter alone and just
That's
leave it
it.
blank because the whole country knows that we didn't go to school fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Why are we throwing third quarter grades into fourth quarter scores? Like,
Just average it up based on 3 quarters. It'll be okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, and I hope, for anybody watching live or if you're watching this on the replay, know that we are not trying at all to shame teachers for what they are or are not doing. We were talking about these things to basically point out the inequality that our students are getting with regard to their education and it's not teachers' faults. It's not. Whether if you are that teacher who is going above and beyond and you've got a schedule set up for your kids to come and sign up for guided reading times and you're teaching from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and you're taking emails at 3 o'clock in the morning, or you're that teacher who your district told you that you needed to make packets and you needed to send them home and that's all you're doing. That's you're doing what you can do and what you've been told to do and what your guidance has been. And that's what we're kind of pointing out is that the guidance that we've gotten with regard to this has been very unequal, very unequal.
That's what happens during a pandemic.
That's what happens.
Yeah. You're right,
We do
Julie.
the best that we can. We do the best that we can. Guys, I hope that we go back in August and Robin told me to bite my tongue. Robin, you can come for me. You can come for me. That's okay. But I want everyone and encourage everyone, if you're having to do distance learning, reach out to people. If you don't know how to do something, reach out to somebody who does. If there's no need for you to try to figure it out on your own. Of course, YouTube is there. I'm telling you, YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. So you can find anything on YouTube. Trust me. You can find how to do anything on YouTube. It's the first one. How to get your tongue unstuck from a Coke can. Go YouTube it. I'm just saying, I don't know if that's really something you can YouTube on.
Watch Christmas Story.
Watch
Oh,
Christmas
it's on there. I'm sure.
I'm sure it is. But the point is you're doing the best you can. We're here for you. We hope that you enjoy this. This is only our second week, but I've enjoyed it. And not every week is going to be talking about distance learning and the pandemic and all that, but I had so many questions. I was like, okay, we just need to talk about this. So,
Rip the Band-Aid off. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's just get the elephant in the room, out of the way. Any last thoughts? We'll start with Misty.
No, you just said it. I just don't want people to think that we're complaining about everyone because we're all just doing what we can. And
Except the snarkers. I am complaining about you.
huh? Who?
Except the snarky people.
Oh, they got some snarky ones. Because we're all actually have emotional. I had a rough Thursday. Tuesday. When did they announce it, Julie? I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was done Tuesday, but the proclamation didn't come out until
Tuesday was rough.
yesterday, I
So
guess.
we also have emotional problems too because this is very hard for us too. So we're all in this together. Hashtag it.
Hashtag in this together.
Hashtag.
Rochelle, last thoughts.
Yeah, I was pretty vocal about this one today. And I also would like to clarify, like, I'm not dogging teachers right now. I'm more getting at like districts and states that aren't like, we were thrown into it with no knowledge. This is what we want you to do, but they didn't provide training or anything on it. And so everybody's doing what they can. But if districts like our ITs and our tech supports and stuff, if they can, sit on Zoom with our principals and say, look, this is how you can do it. And then they can come in and help us or something,
Good idea.
or just say like, you know what, we're going to do packets, and then just call it that, because it's going to reach all of our kids, and then parents decide from there if they want to do the packets. But I'm more frustrated that we just don't have any guidelines to go on, and so I'm going with, the more I do, it keeps my mind busy, so then I just don't get fearful with anxiety of like what's going on around me. So I consume my day with school, and that's just me personally. Other people are different, but nobody was given any guidelines, so everybody's going to do what they're going to do, and I can't be mad that I want to do what I want to do.
Mhm.
And then Robin, yeah, I have it modified. It starts today. I'm gonna post A when we get off here, because I got a lot of pictures for A Day. So
Yay. Last thoughts, Julie?
Life can be tough, but we can be tough too.
That's right.
Hashtag that too, Julie. Get
Just
it.
keep trucking on.
Just keep on. Life gets tough, but we are tougher. So, we're all going to make it through it. We're all going to be okay. And like we said, we are not trying to dog teachers. We needed guidance. I realized that schools, quite frankly, I think that schools should have been prepared. I do believe that schools should have been prepared. And I know that even if they had been prepared, we had training, there had been things in place, there are still going to be those teachers that refuse to do it or always complain. There's always going to be those teachers that complain, because no matter what happens, they always complain. They complain when they have to, come to a staff meeting. So or training on something. So there's always going to be those teachers. Just understand that I just feel like for those teachers that really wanted to do what was best for their students and wanted to give their students the best, I do think some guidance should have been put in place instead of, go figure out what it looks like. Just, because I think and like I said, reach out, get help. If you need help with technology, if you need help with lessons, I think that, reach out and get help. Don't struggle. There's a whole community out there ready to help you. And so, we're glad to be back. Yay! Week 2 is in the books, ladies. All right, guys. I am super excited. We're gonna go now. I'm going to pull this and let everybody, y'all are still live. Misty's doing this because if you did not catch the end of the show last week, I hit the outro and Misty said something which it made her video come up on the screen, and she was dancing away with her toilet paper and and we did not realize it until, actually our live stream froze, and it actually was up for almost 2 hours or over 2 hours. And so, yeah, we're going to try to do that differently this week. So again, guys, we're super excited that we're going to try to get this. There I am. We are super excited about being back. And I know that all of the girls are excited about being back as well. We hope that you have a fabulous weekend, a fabulous start to next week. Again, distance learning, don't let it get you down. We will see you again. Same bat time, same bat channel right here on YouTube, guys. Everybody keep being educational rock stars, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, guys.